All right, I shall begin as I always do with the official hashtag Joyant, the official hashtag Jubilant, a very warm hello to all of my friends circling the globe, no matter where you are. I appreciate that you've come by and decided to spend a few minutes with me, and I'm going to make it worth it. I am going to make it worth it because I welcome you to another edition of Stock Market Mutterings. This is my weekend recap where I go back and look at a little bit of the stuff that we did last week, talk about the week ahead, but you know the slogan. It's I will take a grope in the murkiness, try to make some sense out of the stock market for you. And I hope whatever we discuss here puts some money in your pocket. Now, before I start, I have a very special announcement, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to do it tomorrow. That's right, do it tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I encourage you that tomorrow I'm going to publish a video. And I only have one requirement. I want you to come back and watch it. I got something that I think you guys are going to love. No. I know you're going to love it. I know you're going to like it. I don't even know why I said the word like. You're going to love it. Make sure you come back. So again, if you need help, feel free to reach out to me. My contact details are down in the description box. Mark it on your calendars tomorrow afternoon. I will be back with another video, and you're going to like what I have to say. So let's begin as we always do with these recaps and talk about the SPY. And I can feel the melt. I can feel the melt that just never, ever stops. And I'm going to say something that makes me feel crazy just because it just feels, this doesn't feel right. This thing is up like that's the word that came out. You know, like you ever watch those game shows when they do like the one word, they say something, say the first thing that comes to your mind. And then they're like hot, and you're like water, you know, or it's like, you know what I'm talking about. If they said that, they say the market scam, right? Just joking. Anyway, this thing is up like, I don't know how many days this is. 15 days in a row. I think my eyeball measurement would tell me this is about 8% since the latter part of March. This thing's just been unstoppable. It's offered nothing in the way of pullbacks, very, very small. They've instantly been picked back up, and it's just floated and floated and floated. Now, on the other hand, we've been talking about the discrepancy with some of these indices, especially with the NASDAQ, but now it has caught up. But there's still a lot of growth stocks, which we're going to talk about, that are down well over 50%. So you may be in a position where you're looking at your high beta watch list and finding that most of the stuff on your watch list is red while these markets just continue to float up. Now, here's where I said I was crazy. I'm starting to feel that now is the time to entertain a short trade on the markets. Now, when I'm saying that, people are going to get really touchy about this stuff. All right, look, you saw my video the other day. I don't feel the markets are going to crash. But if you just get a couple of percentage pull, I think what you're going to do is you're going to get a retest of the 400 level. Like the standard rule is this. You know, what is future resistance? What is previous resistance becomes future support. Let me draw a much better line here so you can see it. You had a nice breakout here. We've been talking a long time of SPY 400, 4,000 on the futures, if that's what you're looking at. Really nice breakout. We've now extended about 7% from the bottom up here to the top, 7-8% or something like that. Again, don't quote me to the T, but I think you're going to see a move that just at least challenges this back here. Now, that is absolutely nothing because you had a little sell-off here. Let's pull the chart out and look a little bit deeper. You get pullbacks like this all the time in the chart. So you've had some sections here where you've gotten a little bit of pullbacks. You know, sometimes they're slow, sometimes they're fast, but I would expect a couple of percentage point pullback, or let's just say a negative week. I'm not expecting anything more than that. I'm not expecting a crash that connects us with the 200-day moving average. It seems that we have fought off every sort of negative piece of news that would allow that to happen. I know when I did that last video out there, some people were talking, well, the market was supposed to crash. The Fed just pumped it up. That's the only reason, but they're going to run out of ammunition. Will they? Or are they just going to keep printing money? I mean, this is just the way it is. Now, speaking of this short, I'm not necessarily saying that's my first move going into Monday. I want to entertain this idea. I think it has a good possibility. I would like to see some kind of blow-off top move. I don't have time to talk about blow-off tops, but I'd like to see some sort of parabolic extension. So let's say the very best scenario, if we can say, what is tier one scenario would be The market gaps and runs very strong all day, puts up a good 5-6 points on here. Let's say 50-60 points on the spot on the futures. Gets up to around 425, to 430 early on. Gets a little bit of exuberance. Remember, a blow off top where you're just trending up. You explode, which is a signal of emotion, right? A signal of emotion. And see if we can get that and then sink a short in there and just get a nice little fade. There's a bunch of different ways to trade this. You could sell calls against this type of a position, but that's kind of what I'm thinking of here first. And the QQQ is another monster, but I think you'll get more volatility out of this one if you short it. Again, we just went through a 12% pullback, but you'll see this one here as well. Has much deeper, much stronger, more profound pullbacks, but I think it has a little bit more. And I think you're going to see 350 in this before we move higher. So those are two outside thoughts. I may go trading the market, but we need to see some things happening on Monday. It really depends on the way we open up Monday. Now, on the other hand, if we look at the small caps, the IWM, if we're just looking at markets directly, I mean, let's not even talk about the Dow. It's on its own level. I mean, it's the same thing. This IWM actually looks bullish here. This is a pretty nice bullish chart. You've got very good consolidation here. Much like with what we saw in the NASDAQ there just a few weeks ago before it broke out. Obviously, the NASDAQ was a little more volatile, but when you see this, this is the thing. This is a chart pattern. This is what as I said before, charts are the language of the market. It's how they speak to us, and we must translate the language. So you get your pullback here from 234, it comes down into the lows, bounces back up, and then you find this consolidation in the center here, okay? Now, what this is telling you could be translated by two different traders could look at this. I can make a case for both bullish and bearish. Some trader may look at this and say, well, it's weak, nobody's buying it, they're not interested in it, so I see this thing breaking below this range and then tanking. Okay. And another trader may look at this and say, it's just consolidating. The bears can't attack it anymore, so to speak. They can't push this price down. It can't force this asset down. So the next thing is it will springboard higher. I tend to agree with that sort of the argument there. But either could be right. We're kind of jammed inside of this consolidation. The thing about trading inside of consolidation in tight ranges like this is you don't have any confirmed expansion move. So if you're looking for if you're trading it, you're most likely trading just scalps and very short term. You've yet to experience the expansion move because it's range bound right now. That's not my style. It could be definitely style of other traders. I'm saying it because at some point in our lifetime here, in the near future actually, this will move either out of that range or below that range, and a more definitive move will come. So I think it's something we need to watch because it will show its hands. And that's what we do as traders. We let the market react first, then we react later. So a little breakdown there quickly of the market. Not quickly, it took like 7 minutes. But anyway, I'm going to go through a couple of stocks. Let me just talk about some of these. Here's the thing that's really, if you're in this sector right now, you got to get out of it. This planter crap, I know I've talked about these stocks, but they're not ready. You got some of these big time names. Planter here, just cheesed over and over again. Fubo, they can't catch a bid. They're just buried down here at lows. Nobody's buying them. I've been watching them, waiting for some seriously big bounces. Plug, here was another one. Just absolute brick cheese. Just cheesed. They are 75 to 27. I understand this one here. QS, this is another one. I mean, some of these former Momos, I hope people took profits on these because it'll show you what goes up must come down. $35 was 132. So if you're trading growth stocks, you're having a rough time. You're in the wrong stocks. You've got to move around, follow the money cycle. And right now it is in bigger tech, and it is in other Dow component type stocks, construction, etc. But these growth stocks right here, and trust me, I picked a couple up, did some videos on a few of them. I thought, hey, they're going to be good, but none of them have really panned out worth, dare I say, a shit. They just look terrible. So maybe we see something like that. My eyes always open, but I'm sort of giving up any sort of thought that that's going to happen. I mean, just some ugly action in those. Now, there's a couple of here that let's have some good chart patterns. I'm going to throw some names out here. Qualcomm here looks as a potential trade, but only short term because they've got earnings. Just like the IWM, I really like the consolidation up here. I think you can get a nice break above 141, but remember, earnings are always a wild card. I highly suggest you don't trade through earnings, but keep it on your watch list there. Doesn't look too bad. It could still range break or run strong into earnings. ACTG, here's another one that's building a pretty good pattern to it. It's got a nice sideways, but it still kind of replicates maybe a smaller version of what we've seen in Fubo. So you've obviously had some parabolic moves. Again, doubles in price, 100% actually in price or more. Pulling back here. I think if it can build off of this 563 and hold that area, it's great for risk versus reward. I still think you need to see something out of it because it might just be like the rest of those. And this just could just be going down forever. I mean, at some point these will bounce, but every day they just bleed and bleed and bleed. This Airbnb I've been watching for a little while. I thought back here was going to be, as we hit this double bottom, was going to be a spot where this bounce right here I thought was just going to keep on going and at least connect back here. Just again, another sideways consolidation here, but we need to see a little bit of lift. I'm only entertaining the idea out of this one because if you bought it here, you could stop right here. I mean, you've got basically pennies in this trade and a whole bunch of potential upside. But the thing that we are seeing that still concerns me is we do have a lot of great looking chart patterns, and we've had a lot of really top tier great looking chart patterns. However, they haven't worked last week because the money is not flowing into these right now, or their rallies are very, very short. And I think if you're investing in it right now, it's dead money. But I still keep my eyes on these over and over again to see if there's anything that we might find. Now, another one I want to add to, I mean, look, if you're out here and you're somebody that just wants to make a short case for something, this draft, two of them, Beyond Meat and DraftKings. And here's, I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings by just talking about short selling, but one of the things you got to understand about trading is there is an element of common sense that goes to it. If you're looking at a growth stock like right now, just think about what you're looking at when you're trading something, okay? And this will answer your question. Is just take a common sense snapshot. If you're trading a growth stock that has great earnings and it was up 100% to start the year and now it's down and it's been sitting here for 2 weeks and nobody wants to buy it but you, then there's a problem. It's not working. Whatever reason, no money wants to come into that. Whether you think it should or it shouldn't is irrelevant. That's the way it is. The common sense is telling you it's not a long because no one's interested in buying it and you're not going to move the stock. This is reminding me here of DraftKings. This is a stock that's been, and I did a bullish thing on this. I was bullish on this thing, but you faded off of 74. You've come down here to 57. Now, albeit that's not a big retracement, and you're very close to support, and I do not like shorting stocks at support. However, one of the things we have to understand is this thing was already selling off several days in a row, and I think it's Friday, maybe it was Thursday, I can't remember, don't quote me to it, but they get some positive news about opening up more gambling in another state, maybe it was New York again, my thing is sketchy, I just remember the story. Thing bounces 6% on this news after hours, right? The next day it's red. So if you're already, if a chart, and I don't care who it is, here's the key. I don't care who it is. If a stock is going down every day and then a piece of news comes out and it bounces, that is the lifeline that stock or instrument needs to go higher. That's it. That's why it's there. That's why it was out, whether it was upgraded, whatever the reasons are, that's what it is. Now, if it can't hold that, what does that say? If you're just getting your ass beat over and over again, you finally get one shot, and you screw it up within a day. I don't know what else to say. Like, what case do you make bullish? Like, what would come along that would change this, right? And I'm not saying against anything with DraftKings. I was bullish on the name myself. I'm just saying, well, what would happen tomorrow? Like, what would make this thing go up, right? You already had a really good news story, so if it did it again, it would probably just be a free short. keep your eye on this one. Beyond Meat's the same way. I think just getting screwed, not screwed in the literal sense. It's just bulls are getting screwed on those stocks. So if you're in the Jones area for a short, keep those in mind. So I'm going to cut this loose, guys. Here's the thing. I want to entertain a stock market short. I need to, don't come back to me if the market's at all-time high on Thursdays and tell me I got smoke. Okay, please don't. Oh, you can if you want. But some things have to line up Monday for me to do this. I'm just entertaining the idea, but I've got to see a few things. I mean, I'm still going to keep the idea of Fubo's, PLTR, EXPI. I mean, gosh, there's hundreds of them out there that are just steamrolled right now. Maybe. There's a couple of day bounces in there. On the watch list is QCOM, ACTG, or just throw darts at some cryptocurrency. Try that. And don't forget, tomorrow, I'm talking very stupendous, hashtag joyant, jubilant, very important announcement. So make sure you come back. As always, if you like the video, click that you like it, give the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I deeply appreciate it, deeply appreciate your support, your comments, your chatter, your curmudgeoning, whatever you want to send my way, please do. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care. See you soon.